It's Mind and Body Monday on the Chalut Show, and our favorite fitness and nutritionist expert, Miss Julie Lieff from Fit Organics in studio. Hi, girl. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you guys?
Very good, but a little confused.
Okay.
It's been now 4 months that I have been on Fit Organics. I have lost 20 pounds.
That's so awesome. We love that.
I have taken all the dairy out of my diet.
Okay.
And I've taken out all of the bread in my diet.
Yes.
It's been a huge difference.
Vast majority of the gluten. Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about dairy.
Okay. So a lot of people get confused, frustrated, annoyed because they say to me, all right, so I'm at Starbucks or your local coffee shop that you love that's not Starbucks, and they say, should I get a latte? Should I get a soy latte? Should I get a frappalatte latte? Like,
should
what
I
am I going to get?
Should I have 2% milk? Should I have skim milk?
Right.
What's the difference?
Right. And they say, well, dairy's bad and soy is bad, so like what's left? So let's start with a little bit with why dairy isn't the best choice for a lot of people. For some people, it's a great choice, but for the vast majority of people, it's proving to be not a great choice. Milk is a very hormonal product. It is actually designed for baby cows, just like human breast milk is designed for baby humans. And so it's not really a product or a food source that we would naturally come by. There's this huge movement into, what's more natural. I mean, I guess you could say we'd all be dead by 25 if we all went au naturel. But with milk, it's been proven to be to have a lot of health problems. It is very mucus forming in your body, so you find that if you're prone to having asthma, or if you're trying to get over a cold, milk is like the worst thing for you. And I tell clients, cut it out for 3 weeks. 21 days. Just cut it out, and you tell me how you feel. Makes a huge difference. Because it's a hormonal food and because it is so highly allergenic, a lot of people find that their bodies retain more fluid in order to break down the milk, the contents of the milk. And so basically it causes inflammation, and that's what you see when you're a little bit puffy. And then you cut out the milk, and then you start to look a lot leaner, not because you've lost weight, but because your body and your immune system can relax because it's not on guard because you're not feeding it this allergenic substance.
So at a certain point in your age, your body just doesn't digest milk well? Is that what basically happens?
That's basically what happens, yeah. I mean, some people are better at absorbing it and digesting it than others, but there's lots of other ways. The idea was that we thought that everybody had to have milk in order to get calcium. But there's a lot more calcium in stuff like kelp and some of the sea vegetables, as well as any dark leafy green vegetable. Also, something that we'll address a little bit later, almond milk is fortified with calcium and vitamin D. And so if you're taking your fish oils like we recommend you do, you're going to be absorbing the calcium that you get from plant sources, and you don't really need the source from dairy. Something else that's kind of interesting to think about is that in North America, we have one of the highest consumption rates of dairy products. Yet we also have some of the highest osteoporosis and hip fractures and problems with middle-aged women usually run into, and sometimes men. So it's interesting that, the government has sort of been selling us, and it's been, campaigns to sell dairy as a food source, as an essential food source for us. But I think probably past age 10, we're over it.
All right, we are back with Julie Lieff from Fit Organics. You can check her out online at www.fitorganics.com. She is the best, and we'll be back with her in a minute talking fit and health. Mind and Body Monday on the Chalut Show. We are back with Julie Lieff. We've been talking dairy today. Julie, my biggest question is, what is the difference between all these milks?
Yeah.
Soy, almond. Which one is better for you? Which one should I be drinking? Should we be drinking them?
Right. Well, so if we're going to leave dairy out as something that's not great for adults to consume, and if there are better alternatives, a lot of people have turned to soy. It used to be that soy milk was one of the more popular ones. And now they're finding more and more about soy products not being so great for us. For instance, soy can interrupt our endocrine system because it interferes with the...
Big word.
Basically, it interferes with our hormones.
Break it down.
Yeah, it interferes with our hormones. and it interferes particularly with our thyroid hormone. Your thyroid is a butterfly-shaped gland in your neck. I'm drawing a thyroid on my neck right now to Mike in the studio, and it basically governs our metabolism. So if you're eating something that's going to be messing with your metabolism, is that a good thing? I don't think so. And not messing in a good way. Like, it doesn't make us skinnier. Let's just put it that way. All right?
No to soy.
No to soy. The other
No
thing
to
is
soy.
that a lot of the soybeans grown today are in North America are genetically modified, and they're grown to resist drought and to resist insects
a lot of
and all that
chemicals.
stuff. Tons of chemicals in it. Yeah. So let's count soy out.
Okay.
Next in line then is almond milk. Almond milk is very light and it's very fresh tasting. It's got as much calcium as milk. The issue is, what if you're allergic to nuts?
Right.
Then you're kind of screwed, right?
Yeah.
The other thing about almond milk is that it's super low cal. It's got like 35 to probably 70 calories at the most. I would say to get the unsweetened varieties, because they're going to have more like 35 calories, as opposed to regular milk, which has about 100 per cup.
So soy milk is out, almond milk, a vote for yes.
A vote for yes.
If you're not allergic to nuts.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then last but not least, new to me in Canada. Anyway, I've heard of it in other places, but I just found it at Loblaws in their natural food section. Thank heavens for Loblaws. Flax milk. It's by a company called Good Karma. They make a vanilla and they make an unsweetened. I have not had the vanilla. I did go for the unsweetened. It's about 35 to, I think 50. Actually, no. I think it's 50 calories per cup, which is still really reasonable. It's amazing on cereal. It's low allergenic because it's made from cold pressed flax seeds. For those of you out there like me who hate flax oil, it tastes nothing like flax oil. If I had to describe it, it would be very similar to regular old skim milk, like cow's milk. It also doesn't sink in your coffee like almond milk does. Almond milk is great. I don't have an issue with tree nuts, but if you ever put it in coffee, it kind of does gross things. So flax milk is something that I highly recommend right now. You can get it on the shelves.
Miss Julie Lieff from Fit Organics, always taking care of number one. She is helping us outlive a lifestyle that is healthy and fit. How do they check you out, girlfriend?
You guys can check me out on my Twitter handle at Fit Organics with an X. You can also add me on Facebook and
www.fitorganicswithanx.com.
Exactly.
Love your guts, girl.
See you next week.
See you next week.